Clover told me about the four-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it.
So he was there.
He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Hey, Snake?
Why did the music stop?
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment.
Yeah.
How much do you know?
Clover told me about...
I see. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior. How the experiments had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment.
Yes, tell me about that girl.
She told you all that, did she? At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine
is who did this and why, right?
yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo,
Ace.
Nagisa Nijisaki,
Maybe the ninth man.
Teruaki Kubota,
Maybe the bald guy.
Kagechika Musashido.
Maybe the guy that got killed in the bathroom.
Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
That makes sense. That's Ace. Ninth man. Bald dude. Dude dead in the shower room.
Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the lion's share of the planning. Kubota led the company's research and development division. Musashido was their majority stockholder. It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it, and Nijisaki put it all together.
God, to think that Ace knew all about this. Everything about this the whole time.
Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashido provided the cash.
Okay. Wait a minute. So he created the bracelets and all that, yet he didn't know how it worked? Really? I don't hardly believe that.
Huh, so it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashido...
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so.
And how do you know this, Snake, by the way?
Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonary Project. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will.
Really?
The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field.
Huh.
Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize?
Remember back in the kitchen, talking about that?
Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change?
Talked about that in the operating room.
Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? Experiments with humans produce the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why is that? How could it happen?
Somehow, some people are able to access a field with common knowledge. I mean, you're talking about the collective unconscious, if you're going with Jung.
The answer is that the shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields.
But that's just a theory.
Can't bring yourself to believe it?
I kinda can, though I'll not really believe it's true. It makes sense, kind of.
Yeah.
Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial.
So what matters here is that Hongo believed in the morphogenetic field.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't really matter whether you believe in it or not.
That's right.
Interesting.
But I still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people, right? That is what you were saying.
Yes.
But why would a pharmaceutical company do this? Like, what was the point?
So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field?
I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up.
That is, in essence, the theory.
Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now.
You're gonna have to have 1 billion people do it if you want me to be able to do a handstand. I have never been able to do it in my entire life except in a swimming pool.
Tomorrow, mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event.
I mean, how many resonant events are going on at any one moment? Probably hundreds, thousands.
All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far?
More or less.
Yeah.
Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do?
I see the appeal.
Come on, there's no way.
I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. What if there was...
Sorry I keep skipping stuff. So they're saying that what if he did a handstand and can use that to make other people do handstands?
What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver.
So you're talking about for people who can hear and read from the field, which obviously I must be one, Junpei. But who is the writer? That's the question here.
What would the world be like if there were people with abilities like these?
So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish.
Now I see why they wanted to do this.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, close enough at least.
Come on, that's just crazy.
Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought.
Right, that's what they were trying to do. That's why they had to do 2 experiments at the same time.
That was why they decided to do their experiment.
Yep, I get it.
That was how the Nonary project began. By the way, Junpei? Have you ever heard of the Gansfeld experiment?
Yeah, that was an experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms. Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct.
So, why did you bring up the Gansfeld experiment?
It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project.
Oh, really?
The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret.
Why are these kind of experiments always done on children? Is the overarching theory that they have more abilities that are basically shut down as they get older? Is that the idea? Because you see this in a lot of different films and games and books. Interesting.
Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped. There were 9 pairs of siblings taken, for 18 children total.
So they were siblings.
For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had
One transmitter and one receiver. Of course.
They were split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9.
2 groups of 9.
The children who were put into Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A.
Question and answer.
Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic. From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the fields.
Epiphany and danger. Say it with me.
The first is epiphany. The other is danger. Have you ever been...
Have you ever, tried to visualize something and thought about it until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind to a problem? That's what it's saying.
It may seem obvious to say so, but that is what is meant by epiphany.
Yes.
The information adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. That's where Hongo came in.
So what he's saying is that, as I said before, it's amazing what the human mind and the human body can do when faced with life or death situations.
They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each one before they could move to the next room.
Just like us.
Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include danger. He had detonated a bomb on the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the Nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields. The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Every detail was exactly the same.
So I wonder where we are.
Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed, they will be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the Gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely? It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instruments, everything. All of it identical. Everything was just like the real Apollo 13. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with. Once they found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. That was how they were able to return safely. It was the same with the Gigantic in Building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of Epiphany to solve the puzzles they found and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
It's simple, but it's still freaking crazy.
Huh.
Hey, Junpei, Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony asses? Get down here already!
He's right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here, and soon.
Hold it. There's one more thing I want to ask you.
Hmm?
Are you sure that there were 18 kids?
Why?
Well, I thought it was only 16.
Oh, yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yes, I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment. After all, you couldn't exactly play a nonary game with any less, could you?
Right.
Well, yeah, but... Are you saying that the news got it wrong?
Yes, I am. There were 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister, like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi.
Remember Lotus's story?
The sister's name was... Her name was... Her name was Akane.
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 That was the girl who died.
So, she died? Just a coincidence, I guess. That's an awfully big coincidence. But she's here, so obviously she didn't die. It can't be that Akane. She's been here the whole time.
Akane Kurashiki died?
She couldn't have. She's here.
9 years ago? Then, who is June? No. That's impossible. It can't be true. Akane isn't that uncommon of a name. If Snake had known her last name, that's a different matter entirely. So they share a name. A lot of other people do too. It doesn't mean anything. It was someone else. Of course it was. It has to be.
Is something wrong, Junpei? Your breathing sounds strange.
Well, a lot of things are wrong, Snake, but let's just get going, shall we?
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down there, all right? I couldn't do it. Why didn't I ask? What's her last name? I just couldn't get the words to come out.
Okay, so now we are back. So Sheldrake. Let's check out Sheldrake number 5. Would you look at that? Button, who's got the button? There's a big red button behind this book. I guess we should press this button. Will you press the button? Whoa. There's a keyboard in front of the numbers, and there are 4 Roman numerals on the wall. It's got to be a hint of some sort. 13, 14, 10, and 13. Do you guys know your Roman numerals? That's troubling. Okay, so 13 plus 14 is 27, plus 10 is 37, plus 13 is 50. Well, that's just one letter. So it's not that. Yep, that's obviously wrong. Oh, it's gonna be the stupid hexadecimal again. Convert the numbers to letters? Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so if A is 10, B, C, D is 13. And then 14 would be E. Okay, let's try that. So that's D, E, A, D, dead. That's gotta be right. D, E, A, D. Yes! But which door? Alright, Handel. It's time we got this over with. Damn it! I can't get it open. This thing won't even budge. Then why are there 2 doors? Let's get this thing open. Okay. Just wrong door.
All right, this is the next.
The door!
Did that just close on its own?
Don't tell me we can't go back.
I don't know. Let's see.
I'm thinking we can't go back.
Damn it. It looks like it locks automatically.
Is there any other way out?
Well, there's another door over on the right. There's a card reader next to it. It's got a red light on it, though, so I'm pretty sure it's locked, too.
But there is a card reader, right?
Yeah.
Then perhaps if we find a key card, we could open the door and leave?
Well, yeah, that might work, but...
Hey! Wait a minute! Are you saying we're gonna have to search through this room for one little card?
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Looks that way.
Is this his workshop? Is this Zero's workshop?
No.
For real?
Well, we can sit down and wait to die, if that's what you prefer.
No.
I rather doubt that, however, so it would be wise to start looking. We haven't much time. Let's find that key card. Oh, and the Neptune key as well. We won't be able to get through the hallway without it. All right then, let's begin.
One more time. Once more onto the breach. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I must leave you again. It is once again getting a little bit late. But realize this is the last escape room, guys, in this game. Coming up is the grand conclusion. I may make it an extra long episode, so so be prepared and be watching for it. But in the meanwhile, my name is Cornus006. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying bringing it to you, but I must be signing off for now. Take care.